Welcome everybody. My name is Laura Cantu. If you are new, hi, I'm Laura Cantu. If you are returning, welcome back. I am so happy to have you here again. Today we are talking about early action versus early decision. This is a very important topic. A lot of students have many questions about early action. What is early action? What is early decision? What are the main differences between these two types of applications? And the reason why we're talking about early action versus early decision is because those applications the deadlines are starting to creep up. Deadlines are different for many different schools, but the early decision and early action deadlines are starting to come up. So some schools are actually closing their early action deadlines this Friday, October 15. So make sure that if you have a student or if you're a student who is trying to apply early action to a school that closes this Friday, that your application is ready, right? I will explain the differences between these types of application. If you are a freshman or the parent of a student who is just a freshman, sophomore, junior, or in middle school, it's still important to know these types of application, because knowing the differences, knowing what they mean, knowing what they stand for can help students have a plan of action and can help them maybe maximize their odds of being accepted into their dream school, maximize their odds of receiving financial aid, or just, knowing whether or not they should apply early decision, early action, or regular decision, etc. So make sure that you stick around, that you ask me questions. Remember that I answer your questions at the end of every live stream, so don't forget. And here is our schedule for our live streams that we have. Remember that we have live streams every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, not every day of the week, but most days. And it's always at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So Monday is live stream. We go live on Facebook and on YouTube, and that's in English. Tuesdays, we go live at 1 p.m. again, but this time is on Instagram and on TikTok. Wednesdays and Thursdays, we do our Spanish live streams. Those take place at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and Wednesday is Instagram and TikTok, and Thursday is Facebook and YouTube, and those are in Spanish. So then again, don't forget that we go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we do it both in English and in Spanish because we do have a lot of members, a lot of people who follow us, subscribers that are bilingual. Some are more comfortable speaking Spanish, some are more comfortable speaking English. So we decided to do content in both languages so we can help, both type of audiences. And if you need to freshen up your Spanish, definitely join my Spanish live streams. Or if you want to freshen up your English, then you should be here. I'm definitely think that I freshen up both my English and my Spanish when I am doing these live streams. So they're very, very helpful. All right, I see that we have Dan Schrader in the comment section saying hello there. Hi, Dan. Thank you for being back here. I'm very glad that you decided to come back for another round of Monday live streams. And let me know if you are watching this, if you are the parent of a student, or if you are a student watching this. I like to see what type of audience we have watching these live streams. If you are a parent, let me know what grade your student is in. And if you're a student, let me know what grade you're in and where you're joining us from. Remember that these live streams are way more educational, and I believe that they're more insightful when people are asking questions. A lot of people might have the same questions that you have. So that's why it's important to ask questions. Remember, there are no silly questions. I'm happy to answer any questions. And, this is your opportunity to ask something, right? And have me in front of you, not in front of you, but in front of your screen, on your screen in front of you, so I can answer your questions. And remember that these live streams do stay on the platform. So after the live stream's over, we do keep the videos both here on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can watch them at any point after the live stream is over. So don't worry if you have to leave early, or if you want to share this video with somebody who couldn't make it to the live stream, you can always share this video with them after the live event is over. And you can pause it if I speak really fast, because I have been told that I do talk very fast. So you can definitely pause it and you can rewind if I say something that's a little fast, all right? Andrea Trejo is saying, hi, I'm a parent of a senior. Perfect, Andrea. So this presentation in particular will be good for you. We will be talking about early action versus early decision, and this is usually a topic that is very interesting for seniors. So definitely, stick around. This is a great, very informational for both parents and students of seniors. All right, Paola says, parent of a senior, amazing. So we have yet another parent of a senior, a student who is a senior. So again, Paola, thank you for being here, and this information will be very beneficial to you. Daniela Anton saying, hi, I'm a senior student. All right, another senior, perfect. So you are here at the right time. And I do want to clarify that early action and early decision are not the only types of application. We are just focusing on these two types of application today because a lot of schools, some of the big schools, some of the more competitive institutions are having their early action deadline close this Friday. So some applications, students who could decide to apply early action to those specific schools have to submit their application this Friday, October 15. Now, not all schools who do early action have this Friday as the deadline. Some of them have it later on in October. Some of them have it in November. But it's important to be on top of this and to know the differences, right? Know the differences between these two types of application. Because it's important to know. I will explain as we go through this presentation why this is important and why a student should know and consider this when looking for and applying to universities, right? All right, so I think we have enough people. It's 1:09, so why don't we go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is Laura Cantu. Welcome to my English Monday live stream where we are talking about early action versus early decision. Wow, here we go. And with that being said, let's get started. All right, so early action versus early decision. Let's begin with early decision. All right, so I'm going to give you an overview. I'm going to explain what this is. All right. Early decision is when students apply to only one institution, one school at an earlier deadline, which typically happens around November. So most schools who have early decision, the early decision application, the deadline for early decision will take place usually around November, right? As I mentioned, it's only one school, right? So students can only apply early decision to one institution. Early decision is a binding application, which means if the student were to be accepted into that institution that they applied early decision for, they have to attend that university. They have to, if they submitted any other applications, they have to withdraw those applications because they were accepted to the early decision, all right? And I will explain a little bit more on that binding agreement. I will explain why it might not always be the best for students, but keep that in mind that early decision is binding. So if your student is thinking about applying to a school early decision, they have to be very careful and they have to think this through, right? And another thing to know about early decision is that these applications, students will receive their admission letter around December. So students really find out really early on compared to regular decision, which some students might find out in March, late February, March. Early decision really, it's an early deadline. Students will find out really early on whether or not they were accepted. So hence the name early decision. Students will find out usually around December if they got into that school, into that institution or not, okay? So now I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of applying early decision, the advantages and disadvantages of choosing to apply early decision. So what are the advantages? What are the pros? So this application might be less stressful, might reduce stress for students. This is because, simply because students are applying early and they are finding out early whether or not they got accepted into that school. So for some students, I know for me personally, when I was applying to schools, the waiting game was killer. Like, it was so stressful. And I know a lot of students, a lot of our members at Best College Aid who have gone through, the waiting period, they let us know, like, oh my gosh, Laura, that was so stressful. I can't wait to know. It's something that can cause a lot of stress, for students. So early decision, or applying early in general, tends to be less stressful because students know, okay, I will find out early. And if they do get accepted, they kind of know, okay, well, I'm in. Or if they don't get accepted, well, they have to change gears, right? They have to readjust and see what they're going to do. Another pro is that this process, choosing to apply early decision, actually saves time and money. What does that mean? Well, since the student is applying early, they will do this application quicker. Because they have to submit it early, they will find out quicker, right, earlier on. And if they choose to do early decision, they are only really applying to one school, so they don't really have to spend money on sending their applications to different institutions, right? Remember that many applications do have an application fee, right, to send your application to a school. So if a student is choosing to apply early decision, they don't have to worry about paying all these application fees for all these other schools if they do get in, right? Another advantage of early decision is that I'm not saying that it definitely 100% will, but if a student, has their eye on one institution and they choose to apply early decision, the chances of acceptance might increase a little bit, might be higher because, the student is demonstrating interest. And I have talked about demonstrated interest a lot in the past, and you will hear me talk a lot about demonstrated interest as we, start this application season, as I go over the applications, do's and don'ts, in the next couple of weeks. And just in general, it is something that we also talk about a lot inside of Best College Aid, and we tell our students about the importance of demonstrating interest. And early decision is a great way to demonstrate interest because students are definitely showing those schools that they want to go there because they're saying, hey, this is, the one school that I'm applying to. I'm willing to withdraw. Hopefully the student is willing to withdraw other applications. So schools typically like that. But this doesn't mean that just because the student decides to apply early decision that they will get in. Remember that students who usually choose to apply early decision have a competitive application, right? Have an application that will stand out from other students. So don't think that just because your child, or if you're a student watching this, that because you're just choosing to apply early decision, that you will automatically get in, because there is a lot that has to be done, right? All right, so finally, another big pro that I think is very important, since we've been talking a lot about financial aid and scholarships in the past couple of months, is by applying early decision and finding out, let's say you do get accepted, students will gain time to apply for private scholarships. Remember, I do love private scholarships. I do encourage every student to apply and to be constantly looking for private scholarships. So if a student chooses to apply early decision and they find out, or if they're just waiting for to hear back from the early decision, their early decision application, they will have a lot of time to look for and continue to apply for private scholarships. Remember that it is always a great time to look for and apply, and private scholarships do require time and do require a lot of effort because these are, applications of their own. A lot of them require essays. A lot of them require, supplemental, smaller essays, long response questions, short response questions, etc. So definitely, if a student's applying early decision, they will have a lot of time in their hands once they find out whether they got accepted or not. So they can use this time to apply for private scholarships so that they can increase their chances of receiving scholarships to go to college. All right, so those were the pros of applying early decision. Now I'm going to talk about the cons, the disadvantages, right? The drawbacks. So one of the biggest drawbacks, the biggest disadvantages from choosing to apply early decision and even early application is that students will have less time to prepare a great application, right? One of the most important things when applying to colleges is building a great college application. And, from having a great essay to making sure that your grades are, as the best that you can possibly get them to getting good test scores if you are applying to a school that requires test exams and scores, etc. So if a student chooses to apply early decision, they will have less time to kind of perfect these applications. Let's say that the student wants to apply early decision to a school, but they didn't really do so well on their ACT. Chances are that they might not have another shot to retake those ACT exams or SAT exams on time to send them to those schools because, they have less time and they have to send out these applications by a specific deadline, which is usually an earlier deadline. So definitely applying early does take that. It's a big disadvantage for students who, want to have a great application. So another thing to consider if you want to apply early decision, make sure that, and this is not only for seniors, this is for students and parents of students who are, 9th graders, 11th graders, 10th graders. If there's a school on the student's list, a dream school or a school that the student really wants to go to, and they're considering, maybe I should apply early decision or early action, make sure that students are working on having that, an amazing college application, on working towards having that on time for early applications, okay? So another disadvantage or drawback, and honestly, to me, is the biggest drawback. It could be, it's a double-edged sword, is that applications are binding for early decision. So this means that if the student is accepted to that early decision school, the student must attend that university. They must withdraw all other applications from all other schools, and they have to say, commit to going to that school. And the times where this could be a problem is, let's say the student does get accepted and they didn't do enough research, right? They just said, this school looks great. My best friend's going there and it's a great school, but then they get accepted and the student realizes that they don't even offer a biology program and the student wanted to study biology, or they don't even offer, the extracurriculars that this student wants to continue to do in college, hence he or she won't be able to receive a scholarship. Or worst case scenario is they didn't even research financial aid at this specific institution, so they do get accepted, but the financial aid award is very low, so they have no choice but to attend the school, and they happen to not be a good candidate to receive the most financial aid for this institution. So these are worst case scenarios. This is why doing your research and building a proper college list with enough research, with enough guidance is very important. And inside of Best College Aid, we make sure that students, know these things, know all the differences, know all the different types of applications early on, so when they apply, they don't run into these types of problems, and it all starts with building a proper college list, right? And a lot of students think like, okay, I'm gonna build a college list with schools that have my major or the sport that I want to play in college, but they don't look beyond that. There's a lot of different things, a lot of factors that make a great college list that could help a student not only get accepted but receive the right amount of financial aid that will help them, afford that institution or afford a college education. So these are things that need to be considered and they need to be addressed early on before the student is a senior. So that's why inside of Best College Aid, we encourage that students are looking and are creating a proper college list earlier on, right? But we do have students who don't think that this is like just because you're a senior and you didn't really build a college list, it's not the end of the world. There's still things that you can do. We have had students who joined Best College Aid their senior year with not really knowing a lot of what's going on and not really having a plan, and we have managed to help them figure things out and still get accepted and receive financial aid. We just say that the earlier the students and parents are figuring these things out, the higher the chances of receiving the most financial aid, getting accepted, etc. All right. So finally, another disadvantage, another con from early decision is financial aid packages could be lower. This is simply because, students, some universities, don't offer a lot of financial aid, or as I said, if the student didn't do enough research into the school and they didn't see that their, EFC didn't match that school, or that school just tends to not be generous with financial aid, they could get a low financial aid award that will be quite hard to, what's the word? To try when trying to talk to schools to try to negotiate, that's the word, to try to negotiate with the school, because it's the only school that they are attending, so sometimes it's hard to negotiate, like, listen, this financial aid award, it's not enough. They don't really have other schools on their lists, or schools that they got accepted to because they applied early decision. So the negotiation portion, the reconsideration, aspect of financial aid awards, which students who choose to decide to apply regular decision have, might be harder for students who do early decision, because they don't really have other schools because they're applying early decision. All right, so those were the disadvantages, those were the cons of applying early decision, the advantages and disadvantages, and just early decision as a whole. All right, now let's move on to early action. Quite wordy, I know, so bear with me, I will explain all of it. So what's early action? So unlike early decision, early action students apply to several schools at an earlier deadline, which is typically around October, right? So early action, as I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream, some schools actually have their early action deadline starting this Friday, October 15th. So some early action deadlines close this Friday for some schools, not all schools. Some schools are, I believe, October 20th. So early action is coming. Winter's coming. So make sure that if your student is applying to early action, make sure that you talk to them and that they are completely sure that all of their application the requirements are up to par and that they are ready to apply early action, right? All right, another thing to know about early action applications is that this is a non-binding, unlike early decision that, as I said earlier, early decision is a binding agreement. Students can actually they don't have to commit to the institution. So if accepted as an early decision applicant, the student does not have to commit to that school. They can choose to apply to different schools and then give the school a response by May 1st, which is usually like the decision deadline when a lot of schools, ask for students to let them know whether or not they are attending that institution. One thing that decision day did change for the past 2 years, the past couple of years because of COVID, but it's always May 1st. But because COVID, the deadlines did change, and who knows what it's going to be like this year, but it's usually around May 1st. So if the student is applying early action, they don't have to commit to that school. They could continue to apply to other institutions and give them a decision by May 1st. And another thing about early action is that students will receive admissions letter around January or February, okay? So students will know whether or not they were accepted into the school early, January or February, which is still pretty early on, still gives a lot of students, time to apply for scholarships, to kind of chill out if they do get accepted, It's quite nice. I remember I heard back from a lot of schools by January and early action, and it was just like, it was nice knowing, okay, I know that I got accepted into this school. So it is something really nice to hear earlier on. And another thing, additionally, early action, most schools that offer early action are non-restrictive. So what does non-restrictive mean is that not all of them, but the schools that are early action and they're non-restrictive, it means that students can apply early action to other schools and they won't get, penalized or in trouble, or it's just allowed. So not all schools are like this. Most are, though. So if a student applies early action non-restrictive, they can apply to other early action non-restrictive schools as an early action applicant, okay? All right, now moving on to the pros, the advantages of applying early action. This is early action pros. Reduces stress, similar to early decision. It's a less stressful process because the student finishes applications early, sending them earlier and hears back earlier. It also can save time and money, right? Not as much as the early decision, because early decision is just one school. But if the student is applying early action, it's because they might want to go to, that specific school. So if they find out earlier on, if they got accepted to a specific school and they know that they're going to go there, maybe they won't have to send in a regular decision deadline. University, but this depends. This depends because there are students who apply early action and they don't get accepted. So once they don't get accepted into that early action school, they have to switch gears and kind of have a plan of action, right? If they say, okay, I didn't get accepted into the school, time to apply, to continue my regular decisions. You remember, students should be applying unless they're doing early decision. If they're doing, mostly early action and regular decisions, students should have many schools on their list, unless it's a specific case where the student just knows that they want to go to that one school, that dream school, and they've done enough research. Students should have a good college list, right? A well-formed, well-rounded college list with lots of research behind to back it up, the typical target, reach, safety schools, etc. But if the student does get accepted into their top choice and receives a good financial aid package, and knows that they're going to attend, if they applied early action, then, they might not even have to worry about applying regular decision. But if they don't get in, those regular decision applications, students should be working on them and trying to, not perfect them, but having top tier applications, right? Competitive applications that will help them stand out and get accepted. All right, so another pro is, wait, am I on the right slide? I am. I think it is. Okay. Help shape your regular decision strategy. So if the student, like I said earlier, if the student gets accepted, they don't have to focus as much on regular decision. Or if they get accepted into their top choice with a lot of financial aid and they know, oh, I'm definitely going to this school, maybe that strategy might change. Or if they didn't get accepted, then it's time to, polish those regular decision applications so they do get accepted into those regular decision schools, right? And another pro is to students, again, gain time to apply for private scholarships, right? So by applying early and hearing back earlier, very similar to regular early decision, students will have the time to, look for private scholarships, because, as I said, that process can be quite, time consuming and a little bit stressful. Not too stressful, but just time consuming. All right, so some of the disadvantages, drawbacks, cons. If the student does not have good enough credentials, they could submit a weaker application, right? So if the student, this is what I was talking about earlier about having a great application, only applying early if if your student is certain that their application is up to par. Same thing for early action. Students who apply early action, most students will have a well-rounded application, will have, had taken tests and have had to, have the best test scores that they could possibly get, have had good grades, have managed to get a good GPA, and make sure that they have all the letters of recommendation, community service hours, volunteer hours, extracurriculars, etc. So if the student's application is not up to par, if they maybe should take another ACT or SAT before sending in their application, maybe applying early action might not be the best choice, because it means that their application is not ready. So they will be submitting a weak application, which might actually be detrimental because they will not have enough credentials to get accepted into that school. They might actually get rejected from that school. So sometimes it's better to wait for regular decision, maybe take an ACT, SAT, or wait until that first semester, get those first semester grades in, and maybe increase your GPA, increase your student's GPA, and then apply regular decision, all right? These are all things that are very important to know, right? It's very important to know all this information prior to applying, right? All right, and another con is that admissions odds are not as high as when applying early decision. Now, early action, the odds of getting accepted still could be a little higher, but they will not be as high as early decision, right? So for early action, the odds of acceptance might be a little lower than they were for early decision. Now, keep in mind, this does not mean that just because you're applying early, you will, have a super high chance of getting in. Remember the cons. Remember, in order to get accepted into a university, the student has to have a very strong application. The student has to stand out from others. So if the student is applying early action or early decision, they have to make sure that application, college admissions, package, their application is completely, up to par with the standards that university wants, and that they have tried their best to have the best grades, the, high test scores, unless the school doesn't require test scores, that they have all their community service hours, that they have had, good extracurriculars, letters of recommendation, etc. So this is something that students have to be really careful about and really consider. Finally, I do want to give one tip for each is if a student has I already talked about it, but I'm just going to restate it. Unless the student has, a school that's their dream school, their top choice, the school that they know, I 100% want to go to this school. If they've done their research, their thorough research, they know what extracurriculars that college offers, and they have the extracurricular that they want to study, and they could maybe get a institutional scholarship for going there. If they cannot see themselves going to any other university and they know that they will receive a good financial aid package, then I 100% recommend doing early decision. But if the student is just doing it because, my friend's going there, my friends are doing early decision, do not apply early decision unless you've done or your student has done enough research. Remember, it's a binding agreement. If the student does get in, they have to withdraw from other schools. And I have heard stories, like I mentioned earlier, of students who apply early decision to a school that they didn't really do enough research for, and they didn't even offer the program of study that they wanted to do, or they wanted to do, an extracurricular, an art, or they wanted to practice a sport, and the sports team wasn't a good fit for them. Remember that if a student wants to play a sport in college, they have to go through the recruitment process, and part of the recruitment process is making sure that that team is a good fit for you or for your student. Or sometimes they want to join a theater program, a singing, music, band, and the school might not have that, or might not be up to par with the student's expectations. So that's why doing your research, parents making sure that your students are doing their research is very, very, very important, okay? And for early application, of course, do your research. It's a little, not easier, but it's not restrictive. So students can apply early application and regular decision, at the same time, and choose where to go to. But if the student does want to attend the university or really wants to get into accepted into a university that's, they might apply for early action, make sure that your application or your student's application is, it's a good application have a strong application, you have the test scores, you have the GPA that your student has, their extracurriculars, letters of rec, all that, check, and that they are, at the best that they could be. Having a strong application could, make or break whether or not the student gets in. Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's better to wait for regular decision, because maybe that first semester, if the student is sending an application that doesn't have, maybe they needed a GPA to go up a little bit, or they needed another A, and that's what's going to help them get accepted. Maybe sometimes it's worth it to wait until regular decision, until that first semester is over, until maybe they got a chance to take another ACT or SAT, or maybe until they, were able to get an award from the National Honor Society after that first semester, or whatever, something that will make that application stronger. Sometimes it's better to wait, okay? All right, so those were the biggest differences between early action and early decision. As I mentioned, there are a lot of other types of applications. There's rolling admissions, there's regular decision, etc. But today I wanted to focus on early action versus early decision because, as I mentioned, this Friday, October 15, some schools, some top choice schools have their early action deadline. So that means that those early admissions, those early applications are starting to close. Those deadlines are starting to slowly creep in. And that is why we decided here at Best College Aid to have a sale. So if you're watching this, if you are watching our live stream here today, I want to let you know that we are actually having a sale for the next 24 hours. This is due, as I mentioned, this is because a lot of schools, the early applications are starting to close, and we do get a lot of students who have a lot of questions. And it doesn't matter whether you are a senior or not, or whether your student is not a senior. As I said, there are a lot of things that the student has to know prior to their senior year in order to prepare for these types of applications, the earlier applications, like having a strong application, having all the requirements to increase the chances of get accepted. So because of that reason, we decided to have a big sale for you guys today, which is due to the early applications starting to open up. October, as I said, November is when those deadlines are, they're closing. The colleges are opening or closing their early decision and early action deadlines. So that's why we are having a sale. In order to access this sale, I'll show you. Let me share my screen with you. You can go, here I am, beautiful. If you're watching this on YouTube, all you have to do is scroll down. Here's the comment section, the chat. Click on show more. And here, interested in joining Best College Aid today, here's the discount. You click right here, and you will get access to, you will be redirected to our sales page where we have the $600 off sale, our coupon. All you have to do is click join today, and you will be sent to our official sales page where the coupon, the discount is already added to the sales page. And all you have to do is, create a login for yourself, for your student, and you can pay with PayPal or just your credit card, debit card, and you can join. Remember that we have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, if we were not able to help you with your issue, to solve your problem, there is a 14-day warranty, and you can get your money back. But I'm happy to say that we don't have a lot of people who use the warranty. We actually, very few people actually need their money back because we actually help them a lot. As I said, Best College Aid, we help students of all ages. It's not too late, it's not too early. Don't think that because your student's a senior, or because your student or you were a senior, that you are too late to join Best College Aid. We have students like Tahani that they joined their senior year and still were able to receive scholarships to go to college. Tahani's son, she helped her son get accepted and receive aid for Noble Southeastern University, which is a great institution here in South Florida. And a little bit about Best College Aid, remember that Best College Aid is a family membership. So when students and parents become members, they have a lifetime access where they get access to our digital course, which has over 80 step-by-step video tutorials with our full methodology. And once again, this is a lifetime access, so it's just that one payment. So if you take advantage of that discount that we have going on right now, that's underneath this video's description, you get access to Best College Aid for life. It's just that one payment, and you get access to all of our courses, all of our downloadable attachments, to our online private community, where this is a Facebook private community where hundreds of parents and students receive online support. A lot of parents are in this community asking questions. We constantly update them. If there is a change, we post stuff in that private group, and that's specifically just for members. So you do get a secret code once you join Best College Aid to join this and to be part of this private group. Not to mention that there is also, for members, people who join Best College Aid, they will have access to an ACT online prep account. This is access to a free 12-month online ACT prep account that can be activated at any point. So we do have members who join when their student is in middle school or they are just ninth graders. So this ACT account does not have to be activated until the student is old enough to practice and to start preparing for the ACT exam, which is usually after their 10th grade or whenever the student wants to start preparing. But this account can be activated and is completely free and available to people. It's another advantage of advantage of joining Best College Aid, right? Additionally to the support, online support, unlimited online support. So we do have students, we do have parents, members who will have a question. They are watching a tutorial on how to fill out the FAFSA, and maybe they get confused or they have trouble filling out one question, and they will send us a message and we will get back to them, And support can be given through private message. Support can be given through our platform where we have our tutorials. There's a whole comment section where students ask questions and we answer. And also in our private Facebook community, students can also ask questions and they can receive support through there. There's also downloadable attachments like spreadsheets, files, online calculators to calculate things like EFC, to calculate scholarships, and scholarship search tools, college search tools, etc. So this is all things that we have inside of Best College Aid. So if you want to join today, make sure that you take advantage of our college application, our early college application deadline sale. As I said, this Friday, October 15, a lot of universities that have early action applications have their deadline this Friday, and those deadlines are starting to come up. So make sure that you join Best College Aid today so that you can be prepared for this process. There's also tutorials on how to fill out the FAFSA, how to write a college application essay, how to write supplemental essays. We have a whole section dedicated to middle school students. So we have a lot of information for anybody, all right? So make sure that you take advantage of this sale, which is only going to be available for the next 24 hours. So this sale is now live and it will be available to anyone who watches this video for the next 24 hours. The video is down below this video's description, so make sure that you take advantage of it, okay? All right, so with that being said, time for our questions. I do see that Lisbeth Velasquez asked us or had a comment for us. Lisbeth says, thanks for the information that they are parents of a junior and senior. Perfect, Lisbeth. Thank you for being here and you're welcome. I hope that these live streams can be informational, that they can be helpful for you and your students. And you say that you have a junior and a senior, so hopefully this information was helpful. Remember, as I said, this was only a little breakdown on, and it wasn't little, it was pretty informational, but it was only on early decision, on early action. Remember that there are other types of applications that we talk about inside of Best College Aid and that are, very important when trying to create a strategy to, get accepted and receive financial aid for college. But I hope that this information was helpful to you. I do want to mention again, if you have any questions in the future, or if I don't get to answer your questions, this is our email, support@bestcollegeaid. If there are any questions that, go unanswered, or maybe I didn't see, or your question didn't get sent through, or you are watching this video after it's been, the live stream has ended, you can send us an email at support@bestcollegeaid.com. This email will help, you can just write your question there and we will help you, or if there are any other questions in the future, this is the email that you can send, your information or your questions to. You can also additionally just type down below in the comment section, and we will try to answer your questions as soon as possible. So take advantage of either the email or just the comment section, whether you're watching this on Facebook or you are watching this on YouTube. You can use both the comment section or the email to ask me or, our team a question. All right, so another thing, finally, I just want to share the live schedule with you. I want to invite you to our live stream tomorrow on Instagram and TikTok. And then if you want to come back for our Spanish live stream, Wednesday and Thursday is the day where we do Spanish live streams at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Wednesday is on Instagram and TikTok, and Thursday we do them on YouTube and Facebook. So make sure that you join us for those live streams so you can, get all the information that you want and you need. So with that being said, I don't think we have any questions right now on YouTube, unless anybody wants to ask me something. As always, this video will get posted on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can always come back. You can always share this video. Please share our profile, share our YouTube channel with people who might benefit from this. We do live streams every week, and we do share a lot of valuable information with you. So share it with somebody who might need it. Thank you so much for being here today. I will hopefully see you tomorrow during our live stream on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're coming back for our Spanish live streams Wednesday and Thursday, well, I hope to see you there. Thank you so much. Don't forget to take advantage of this amazing sale that we have going on, only available for the next 24 hours. So make sure that you take advantage of it. Dan Schrader saying, thanks so much for the info. Thank you so much for being here today, Dan. Have an amazing day. Good Monday, and I will see you again tomorrow for those of you joining me. Have a great week.